You know, in the world of crypto, there's this huge nagging problem. How would you build a digital dollar that's both rock-solid stable and super efficient? It's a puzzle that's led to some pretty spectacular failures. So today, we're going to dive into something called FRAX, a stablecoin that thinks it's cracked the code using a really unique hybrid design. Let's see how it works. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack that fundamental stablecoin dilemma. Then, we'll see how FRAX offers a middle path, get into the nitty-gritty of its hybrid engine, take an honest look at the risks, and finally, explore what this could all mean for the future of digital money. So, let's kick things off with the core challenge. The idea of a stablecoin sounds so simple, right? Just make a digital token that's always worth $1. But actually getting that perfect balance between being safe and being efficient, well, that's pretty much the holy grail in decentralized finance. Historically, you've really only had two choices, and they're polar opposites. On one side, you have coins that are fully backed by real-world assets, like USDC. For every digital dollar, there's a real dollar sitting in a bank. It's super safe, but man, it's also incredibly expensive and ties up a ton of capital. On the other end, you've got these purely algorithmic coins that use nothing but code to hold their value. They're way more efficient, but as we've seen, they can be terrifyingly fragile and just completely collapse. Which, of course, leads us to the billion-dollar question. Is it even possible to get the best of both worlds? Can you have the safety of all that collateral, but without the high cost? And the efficiency of an algorithm, but without the massive risk? And that right there is exactly where FRAX enters the picture. It was literally designed from the ground up to be that middle path, a totally new way of thinking about how a digital dollar should be built. The whole idea behind Fraxis is that it's not all or nothing. It's a hybrid. Part of its value is backed by real assets that are locked up, giving it a solid foundation. But the rest, that's managed by a smart algorithm that's constantly adjusting the coin's supply to keep the price right where it needs to be. The creators had four really clear goals in mind. Number one, obviously, was to stick to that $1 peg no matter what. But just as important was cutting down the crazy high costs of collateral, staying decentralized, and finally nailing that elusive sweet spot between stability and efficiency. Okay, so let's get under the hood. How does this hybrid engine actually tick? How does it juggle real assets and pure computer code to hold its value steady? You know, the best way to get your head around FRX is to think of it like a hybrid car. It doesn't just rely on one system. It uses both a gas engine and an electric motor to run as efficiently as possible. The collateral, those tangible assets like USDC, that's your gas tank. It's safe, it's reliable, it's always there when you need that raw power. The algorithm, on the other hand, is like the electric motor. It's fast, it's super efficient, and it adapts on the fly to keep everything running perfectly smooth. So when you lay it all out like this, you can really see where FRAX fits in. The over-collateralized models are low efficiency, low risk. The algorithmic ones are the complete opposite. FRAX plants its flag right in the middle, making a very deliberate trade-off. It's aiming for that sweet spot of medium efficiency and medium risk. Okay, so creating new FRAX is a three-step dance. First, you deposit some collateral. Second, you mint new FRAX. And this is where the magic happens, because how much you can mint depends on the system's collateral ratio. Think of this ratio as a confidence meter. If the market feels good about FRAX, the system requires less collateral backing. If things get shaky, it automatically demands more collateral, making the whole thing safer. It's constantly adjusting that balance between safety and efficiency in real time. So let's walk through a quick example to see it in action. Let's say a ton of people want to buy FRAX all at once, and it pushes the price up to $1.02. What happens next? Well, that electric motor we talked about kicks right in. The algorithm sees the price is a little too high, so it automatically increases the supply of FRAX, creating more coins for people to buy. And just like that, the new supply soaks up all that extra demand, and the price comes right back down to its target of exactly $1. And what's really cool is this works perfectly in reverse, too. If the price ever dips below $1, the algorithm shrinks the supply to bring it right back up. It's pretty elegant. But of course, an innovative design like this isn't going to be without its own set of challenges. It's so important to remember that in crypto, absolutely no system is ever foolproof. So we have to ask the tough questions. Where are the cracks? What are the potential weak spots in a hybrid model like this that we really need to watch out for? Well, there are four big ones to think about. First, there's collateral risk. The value of the assets in that gas tank could plummet. Second, algorithmic risk.
The code might just not be quick enough to handle a really sudden, chaotic market crash. Third, you've got governance risk. Since the community makes the decisions, a few bad calls could put the whole system in jeopardy. And finally, there's always smart contract risk, the chance of a hidden bug or exploit in the code.
So even with those risks in mind, what FRAX is trying to do is still a really, really big deal. Let's zoom back out and talk about why this hybrid model could be so important for the entire future of decentralized finance. And look, this isn't just some theory locked away in a lab. FRAX is already being used all over the DeFi ecosystem. It's a key player in lending and borrowing, for payments, for trading, you name it. And the fact that it's used so evenly across the board shows it's not just a niche tool. Its capital efficiency makes it a super attractive building block for all kinds of new financial apps. You know, this quote really nails the whole mission. For years, everyone just assumed you had to make a choice. Either you're efficient or you're stable. FRAX is basically a bold experiment designed to prove that, just maybe, you can actually have both. And that leaves us with one last fascinating question to chew on. As these hybrid systems get battle-tested and get better and better, could they become the new gold standard? Are we watching the blueprint for the future of digital money being built right before our eyes? It's an exciting possibility to consider. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.